This video is designed to explain the test data requirements and authorship requirements for programs in this class. So at the top of your program, I've opened up a program in NetBeans here, and at the very top you add some multi-line comments that include your name, the date, a brief description of what this program does. This program that I wrote inputs two numbers and outputs the sum, and that probably would have been a better description than the one I've got here, but I wanted to be clear that I was typing this up mostly to demonstrate authorship comments and test data. So then, following the description, you should skip a blank line and put the words test data followed by a colon, and then three column headings: input, output, and passed. So the input is what you entered for input when you tested your program. The output is what you got for output when you tested the program, and it doesn't need to be exact. You'll see that I've left off some of the extra verbiage, but the result of the calculation is what is really important. And then whether or not that met my expectations. So when I enter 2 and 3, I do expect that my program is going to output 5. It's important to try to come up with a representative sample of input such that you test all lines of code. Our programs are pretty simple at this point, but later on we're going to need to be very deliberate and careful when we create our test data to make sure that we test all the lines of code. In this test data section, it is critically important that you do not include data that you didn't actually use. So when I test your programs and I enter the same data that you've got listed in your test data section and I get different results, that's very bad. That results in a very poor grade, because it's important for us as programmers to certify that this code works with this data. If we try to pass it off, oh, maybe they won't notice, that's really unethical, particularly when it comes to software development. Software is used in many life-critical systems, self-driving car kind of stuff, radiation machine kind of stuff, other medical devices. It's critical that we do not lie or misrepresent our code by putting test data that we didn't actually use. So let me just show you real quickly this program. I have written a little program to prompt the user to enter a number, and I store that integer, and then I prompt the user to enter another number, and I store that integer, and then I calculate the sum. And notice my variable names. I use the name sum for the variable where I'm going to store the sum of num1 and num2. I use num1 for my first number and num2 for my second number because that kind of describes what's in there, just the first number the user entered and the second number the user entered. And then I've got an output statement, the sum of num1 plus num2 equals, and then the sum. Let me run this and show you how it works. So I run this program, and I'm being prompted down here to enter a number. So I'm going to enter 4, and then I'm going to enter 2, and it says the sum of 4 plus 2 equals 6. And that's exactly what I have up here in my test data, because I already ran this program with these values, and that's exactly what I expect as a result of this println statement. So I can put a Y in the passed column. So to recap, all your programs should include authorship comment, name, date, brief description of what this program does, and test data, a test data section with input, output, and passed as column headings, and at least 3 sets of test data or enough test data to make sure you test all the lines of code. I hope you found this video helpful.